Hi, it's my favorite time of day, the time of day when I get to read a good book to you. Today we're going to read seriously, Snow White Was So Forgetful, the story of Snow White as told by the dwarves. And it's by Nancy Lewin and Gerald Gourlay. And I'm sure you know the original story of Snow White, right? She had to go in the woods and hide from the queen who was after her. And she found a place to stay with 7 little guys who were miners. They mined in the earth. And the queen kept coming and trying to trick her. And finally, she got tricked by eating a poison apple. And the only thing that would wake her up was the prince. Well, this story is a little different. This story is not told from Snow White's point of view. It's told from the dwarves' point of view. So that makes it a little bit different. See if you can discuss when you're done with the story how it was different from the original version. All right. I love Snow White dearly. She's a beautiful person inside and out, but honestly, the girl's got a mind like a leaky bucket. Here's the real story of Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. My name, by the way, is 7. We dwarves used to have real names, but Snow White couldn't remember them. I like the pictures in this book too. They're cute. One day we came home from the mines to find our cottage door open. We thought we'd been burgled, but no, it was just a lovely little girl sound asleep. In the morning, she had quite a story to tell. "Hello," she said. "I'm Snow White. The queen sent me into the woods and a hunter was supposed to kill me, but he was nice and let me go, and I wandered a long time in the woods. I guess I'm very pretty, and that's why the queen doesn't like me. I'm Snow White. Would it be all right if I lived with you? I love playing house, and keeping house for real wouldn't be all that different, would it? Did I tell you my name's Snow White?" Wow, did she have energy. Life with Snow White was interesting. She'd forget to turn on the stove. She'd forget to turn it off. She'd knit scarves that were 10 feet long just because she forgot to stop. She'd make banana cream pie and forget the bananas. On the bright side, she laughed at all of our jokes and she never complained about anything. Years passed. Snow White grew up, but she didn't really change. She remained her sweet, charming, forgetful self. Then one day, Five heard a rumor. "The queen knows Snow White is alive," he told us. "The magic mirror spilled the beans." We gave Snow White orders to stay inside the cottage. She was not to open the door to anyone. We knew the evil queen would try to hurt her. But Snow White quickly forgot. Twice we came home to find her lying on the floor. It was clearly the work of the queen. The first time, Snow White couldn't breathe. She was wearing a brand new corset that was laced too tightly. The second time, she had a poison comb in her hair. All the queen had to do was dress up as an old woman and offer something pretty for sale. Any thoughts of being careful went right out of Snow White's head. We posted reminders. We even wrote, "Do not open the door," in syrup on her pancakes. Do you see all those Post-its? But once again, we came home to find Snow White on the floor. This time we couldn't help her. There was no corset to loosen or comb to remove. We thought she was dead, killed by a magical spell. And yet days passed and she remained as lovely as ever. "It's like she's forgotten how to wake up," Five whispered. We couldn't make ourselves bury her, so we placed Snow White in a glass coffin and brought her to a spot on the mountainside. We took turns guarding her. Thank goodness that's not the end of the story. One day I heard voices in the woods. "No, Your Majesty, it's not time for lunch. We ate our lunch an hour ago, don't you remember?" "Oh, right, silly me." Suddenly I was face to face with a prince, but he barely noticed me. He couldn't take his eyes off Snow White. "What happened to her?" he asked. "What's her name?" I told him the whole story. "She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen," he breathed. "Those lips, those eyes. What did you say her name was? Could I take her with me? Now that I've seen her, I don't think I can live without her. What silky hair she has. Tell me again, what's her name?" I smiled. The prince reminded me of a certain someone. Who do you think the prince reminds him of? Somebody else who can't remember things? We were bringing Snow White back to the cottage so the other dwarves could say goodbye. Without warning, the prince stopped and turned around. "Hey, what about lunch?" he asked. The servant slipped, the coffin slid, and Snow White coughed. I'd never heard such a beautiful sound. Out of her throat flew a bit of rosy red apple. Rosy red poisoned apple, that is. She sat up. "Did someone say something about lunch?" she asked. Yes, Snow White married the prince, of course. The queen actually showed up at the reception, if you can believe it. Everyone threw dinner rolls at her and booed so loudly she ran away and was never heard from again. Things are pretty much back to normal now. When it gets cold outside, we're grateful for our 10-foot scarves. And every once in a while, we make banana cream pie without any bananas, just for old time's sake. And that's the end. So can you compare that to the real Snow White story? And down on the last page, it says, think about it. And I want you to maybe discuss some of this with your teacher or your parents. How does this tale of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs differ from the one that you usually use? And is there anything the same in it also? Also, I want you to think about how the story would be different if it was told from the Queen's point of view. Do you think the Queen would tell it a little bit differently? Yeah, I think she would. What are some things you think the Queen might say? And what about if it was told from the Prince's point of view? Would the story change then as well? Maybe you can talk about that with your teacher or your parents. All right, I hope you liked this different version of a fairy tale, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Lily.